count the signals for the Baltimore Colts. Unitas gives to Amici. The Colts are the world champions. Amici scores.
It's amazing, sensational, dramatic, heart-rending, exciting, thrilling finish in the history of college football. California won the big game. 5 seconds left in the game. You believe in miracles? Yes!
This is Phil Steele.
This is Mike Burnham.
This is Wes Durham.
This is Mike Ashley.
Hi, this is Chuck Foreman, number 44 of the Minnesota Vikings.
Woo, mercy, this is handsome Jimmy Vine, the Boogie Woogie Man.
This is Coach Fry with Virginia Tech Football, and you are listening to Big Dog Sports Talk.
Are you ready to rock? Are you ready to roll? Okay, let's do it.
You're in the doghouse with Rick Watson on Big Dog Sports Talk, presented by Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. Join us in the Family Fencing Studios and chime in on the McClellan Chiropractic chat line. He's keeping cool with help from Little River Heating and Air, but this show is straight fire. And now, the big dog, Rick Watson.
Rick Watson's got the mic, he's the big dog king. Cover sports so sharp, it's a New River thing. Virginia Tech fire, Radford pride too. Every stat, every play, he's bringing it to you. He's got that voice, deep as a valley, breaking it down, no dilly, no dally. Big dog sports talk, feel the bark, feel the bite. Rick's in the zone, every day, every night, from the Hokies to the Highlanders. He's got the spark, Big dog sports talk, lighten up the dark. He's got the scoop, faster than a sprint. Calling plays like a coach, every word's a hint. From the courts to the fields, the stories unfold. Rick's play-by-play, worth its weight in gold. With a laugh and a growl, he'll pull you in. Big Dog's podcast, let the games begin. Big Dog Sports Talk, feel the bark, feel the bite. Rick's in the zone, every day, every night, from the Hokies to the Highlanders. He's got the spark, Big Dog Sports Talk, lighten up the dark.
Team USA. Great moment yesterday for that young man, Jack Hughes. Knocking off Canada in overtime. First gold medal for the United States since 1980 on the 46th anniversary. How about that? You can't make up how awesome that whole thing really is.
Sports talk, feel the bark, feel the bite. Rick's in the zone, every day, every night, from the Hokies to the Highlanders.
Coming up on the program,
Got the spark, Big Dog Sports Talk.
coaches Phil Elmassian and Todd Grantham a little bit later on.
Big Dog Sports Talk, feel the bark, feel the bite. Rick's in the zone, every day, every night, from the Hokies to the Highlanders. He's got the
And I don't know if we've ever seen a performance like what
lighten up the dark.
Connor Heilebuck did, the goalkeeper for Team USA. Just awesome. Yeah. How was your weekend, everybody? I know that was the sports highlight for yours truly. We got all sorts of pictures for Team USA. We got that. There's the stop that saved everything. What an amazing play there. That was there was a couple of great plays too where guys were helping out behind them. Canada skated so well most of the game, and then the U.S. found a way in overtime. And then, of course, the celebration, and there is the winning goalkeeper, with the flag draped around his shoulders in the almost throwback 1980 unis for Team USA. How about that? A team that was proud and wrapped itself in the glory of representing this country. The polar opposite of some of these other millennial Olympians who were very vocal about how they really didn't want to wear the colors. Well, how did all those people finish? Oh. From the Virginia Tech practice fields, and yes, we do have to talk about Ronyell Whitaker. We can't read that in the same voice since it's about the passing of Ronyell. But yeah, Ronyell Whitaker passed away. Dwight Vick broke the news to everybody last, I think, Thursday or Friday. Dwight, of course, will talk about that this week when we have him on Thursday. He's pretty emotional right now, so he'll get his thoughts together, and we'll have him on coming up. So talk about Team USA. Angry Canadians everywhere. Nate McKinnon. Well, we were the better team. If anybody just watched it, you could tell we were better. Well, the scoreboard didn't say that, did it there, Nate boy? Nope. So the hockey team sweep Canada in overtime by the same score. Their co-national sport, by the way. You know what the other co-national sport is? It's lacrosse in Canada. Little known fact. Jack Hughes with busted teeth, gums bleeding, scores the game winner, throws off his helmet and his stick. Celebration ensues. It was an awesome moment. And you think about 1980 and that awesome moment when people always forget that was, I believe, on a Friday night when Team USA beat the heavily favored Russians. And then they had to go out and beat Norway in the gold medal game on Sunday. The Russian game was not for the gold. They had one more to go. Well, this one was for everything. And it got into overtime, and Jack Hughes now has become a national name. He earned a lot of money for himself yesterday. And then with his post-game speech, you could just see NBC, one of the networks who absolutely hate this country, as he was talking about how proud he was to represent America and the United States and how much he loved the country and how much this team loved the country. You can almost see the interviewer kind of want to hide back like the Homer Simpson meme into the shrubbery. But what's a damn shame is there was probably half of this country that was pulling against Team USA yesterday because of politics. And that's a shame. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. But in any event, if you're not behind that and you're not excited about that, you've got more issues than, I can help you with, because it was a wonderful thing. And great game. The greatest players in the world. That's why the men's hockey final is the last event. And those guys will go be teammates now. Guys on Team USA are stars for Canadian teams and vice versa. It was awesome. It was awesome. But it was great to see pride in your country. It's a shame that you have to sit here and be happy that someone actually exuded pride in the country they're representing in the damn Olympics, huh? Yeah, all right. Look, they're carrying the flag around. Woo, we don't get that a lot. Only here. Only here. Because, so many people are oppressed and can't speak their minds. But in any event, great moment yesterday. And genuine just happiness and elation. And I'm not sure there's anybody any better at what they do than Mike Tirico. I put that up on the Facebook page yesterday. And his closing speech yesterday at the end of the celebration, the pictures was great. It was great. If anybody missed it, encouraging young people to look upon these teams as heroes and this team and follow your dreams. And he actually had a unified message. I'm sure the producers at NBC were like, no, Mike, no, how dare you? The enemy from within, indeed. But I hope everybody had a good weekend. We got a little brush with cold now for today and for tomorrow. Weather sucks. But then we get back into warmer weather throughout the latter part of the week, it looks like. Let's see here. 19 this morning. Feels like 1 if you're out. 50 on Wednesday. Rain all day Thursday. Rain all day Friday. Ew. Sunny on Saturday. And then it gets into the 60s over the weekend. And then hopefully that's the last brush with this awfulness that is winter weather. I'm sure it won't be, but we'll have a March snow, I'm sure. Hopefully not an ice storm. But with the very good that happened yesterday, it is very sad about Ronyell Whitaker. Number 2 for the Hokies. There are a lot of unconfirmed things of what happened with his health. I don't have confirmation. There's a lot of people saying it was an aneurysm. I don't know. So I'm not going to speculate about it until that's released. Maybe they have released something since then. It's very sad. Very, very sad. As still a young man, and he was such a great player here in Blacksburg, and he had a nice NFL career. And I know he was very close with Dwight Vick. So, Dwight, we're thinking about you. I know you're going through a difficult time right now, and hopefully on Thursday he'll be able to come on and talk about the legacy of, that's what Dwight's about. It's about Victory Life. It's about the legacy. And we can talk about the legacy of Ronyell Whitaker, one of the great defensive backs. And, it's something that I'm sure that when we have Coach Elmo on today, he can talk about that too. So kind of a sobering bit of information, to say the least, to have to consume. Trying to think if I ever really met Ronyell. I don't think I did. But everybody talking about what a great teammate he was during his time in Blacksburg. So our thoughts go out to his family, and I hope people can start to grasp the loss, and we'll be okay. So yesterday, we don't have not a lot of moments in sports that I look forward to anymore. I was thinking about that too. I think I'm going to write about this week in a Patriot. Where we've gotten, especially in professional sports, with the NFL, the NBA, and Major League Baseball, it's hard to sit there and get pumped up about what's going on. Yesterday, I was pretty excited about the gold medal game. Olympic hockey's always been special. It has been since we were all little, most of us, and we were watching Miracle on Ice, understanding we weren't supposed to win, but maybe not understanding the magnitude of what kind of shockwaves that was going to send throughout. And the fact that this is the first gold medal since then is pretty cool that it happened on the exact day, 46 years later. Connor Hollybook was incredible. He stopped 41 of 42 shots, and then Jack Hughes got the goal less than 2 minutes into the extra period. And it was an unbelievable shot. And then the celebration ensued. And I think that moment of exuberance made me forget for a moment all the issues that are going on here. And how I knew deep down there were a lot of people that were like, oh, man, can't believe he did that. Hate that they won. It's a shame. Isn't that a shame? The reaction was genuine. They were saying that they were sitting there after the game and they watched the goal. They didn't know how they reacted. They wanted to see how everybody looked, just going nuts. The genuine reaction. But it was good. It was good. Canada was heavily favored throughout the Olympics, and the U.S. men had not defeated Canada since the 1996 World Cup of Hockey. And many of the players on the team yesterday weren't even born then. So very, very cool. And, of course, all the Canadians have done is complain, embarrass themselves with the comments that they've made since then. We were clearly the better team, okay? And then their head coach complaining about – everybody knew the overtime rules. It was explained that they were going to do the 3-on-3 like in the NHL because, you know, these are NHL players and everybody signed off on it. And then the coach, Team Canada, had to complain about didn't like the overtime rules. When if they would have gotten the game winner on some dramatic pass across the ice and won, then they would have not said a word about it. So that makes it even a little bit more sweeter, to say the least. Awesome. Thanks to Family Fencing, sponsor of our studios, 540-200-8294, familyfencing.nrb.com. McClellan Chiropractic, sponsor of our chat room. Thanks to Mark Hunley. As in middle of March, we're going to be heading over there to get popped on the machinery. That'll be a separate video up on the channel, by the way. Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment, thanks to them for all their support and for being the presenting sponsor of the program. Little River Heating and Air, Charles Lee, 540-553-2971. As soon as you start thinking about, well, it's time to think about getting the cooling part of heating and air going, then this little cold spurt kicks back in. But whatever it might be, that's your guy. National Bank member FDIC, the exclusive banking partner of this program, and my exclusive banking partner for 35 years. Professional Door Incorporated, residential commercial garage doors, family owned and operated, 38 years in business. Sponsor of our text line. And the Ready Set Fund, Bob Christ, BOBCRIST11 @gmail. Thanks so much to Bob. You can email him directly or just go to ReadySetFund.com if you need to raise some money for springtime sports, whatever it might be. Lawson's Mobile Home Supply, thanks to James, located 300 North Franklin Street in Christiansburg, 540-381-8011. The NRB Super Bowl, 25 years, 382-5525. And Ryan Pry, the attorney, sponsor of our Fan Question of the Week, 701 West Main Street in Radford. And thanks to Brandon at Top Shelf Apparel. But hit us up in chat, whatever's on your mind from the weekend, whether it's hockey, whether it's basketball. Coach Elmo and Todd Grantham are going to join us coming up a little bit later on as well. So it was I guess it wasn't a mixed bag. For the most part, the local basketball teams did well this weekend. Tech men got a win that they really needed against Wake Forest. Much work to do at home. Nice to see Nito play well. Maybe he's gotten over his funk. And maybe Tech can put it together the final couple of weeks of the regular season and then do something in the tourney again. Who knows? Who knows? They did it once before under Mike Young. Maybe they can do it again. But we don't want to get too excited over one win. We want to see them now put some things together, and they still have some opportunities coming up. Radford men lose overtime by 1 at Asheville. Had 3 different shots to win it. 1 at the end of regulation and then 2 at the end of the overtime and didn't get a shot to fall. They finish up the regular season this week against Upstate, final home game on Thursday, and then at Longwood next Saturday. And then our tournament kicks in the next week. Yeah. Tech women got a win over Georgia Tech. Wasn't apparently a very good game. Tina's telling me very sloppy, but they got it done. And the Radford women got a big win as well at Charleston Southern. So the ladies all got wins on Saturday. The Tech men got a big win. Radford men, not so much. But still plenty of time to fix some things. Radford's going to finish 3rd in the conference. The only team that could catch them, Presbyterian. Unless Radford crashes out this weekend, I don't think that's going to happen. But they have to play High Point and Winthrop. And they lost. If they would have won, that would have put more pressure on, but they lost as well on Saturday. So, but we'll see about Tech. Lots of issues to fix. I didn't keep up with the game at all. I was driving to Asheville, but I saw the final score, and I looked up the box, and looks like the numbers checked out pretty well for Mike Young's team, that they performed pretty well. So that was good. That was good. They needed that mightily. You drop that game, then there's zero chance at all you could climb back through. I mean, if you lost that game on Saturday, it wouldn't have mattered if they'd have beaten Carolina. It wouldn't have mattered if they would have beaten UVA. They would have had at that point just to win the tournament. But now maybe there's some amount of wins that they can achieve here coming up. I mean, I don't know for sure, but there's a lot of speculation, and you never know what the committee's actually thinking, and what they say and what they do usually means two different things. But Tech's got Carolina. They have a week off, which is good. I'm not sure they're not going to be favored in that game. Carolina's not the same. They probably won't be favored, but wouldn't surprise me. They should beat up on BC. They're terrible. And then you've got Virginia. So 2 out of the next 3 aren't easy. You got to get that record over 500, though. They're 7-8. They will not make the tournament with a losing conference record. So keep that in mind. The problem is Florida State and Cal keep winning. So Tech's still with a lot of work to do. And the Carolina game could be the trigger game next coming up. Could be. But Carolina is not the same team at all. And when you lose your best player in college basketball, you just cannot in any way, shape, or form expect to go out and be the same team. They did win at Syracuse. Had a big second half in that game. But their whole lineup has been shaken to the core. And I don't know. We'll talk to Marva about it tomorrow. But they're not the same team at all. So we'll see. There he has a great shot to beat them. Not being a homer, but I think they have a great shot to beat them. We'll see. We'll see. But I'm with you, Morris. I'm with you. Good stuff. Good stuff. About the hockey teams. Had a good drive throughout. You know, it's one of the simplest drives you can have if you're on the road. I guess the only other easier drive in Big South play is when you go to Winthrop. Problem is, you know, it's an 11-hour day and you're driving by yourself. But it's just beautiful. That drive, and it's easy, right? You go down all the way through 81, and then you connect on 26, and then you drive right there to the Asheville exit, and there's the school. It's just a beautiful drive through the mountains in Asheville, North Carolina. It really is. Now, we didn't get the result we wanted. Winthrop's probably the easiest drive. Well, when you factor in Charlotte traffic, it may not be the easiest drive. But for the most part, it's very, very nice. All right, we had a blip here. Are we good to go? I'm going to ask again. Remember, it was last Monday we had our blip and things. Are we good to go? Okay, I think we're good. Everything says we're good, but it said we were good Monday and nobody could see me, which is not a bad thing in retrospect. All right, good. Come see us, Santina. We're going to recognize Louise Baker in that game at halftime. Louise Baker, Long and Foster, sponsors of our network. Yeah. It's our home final. All right, thanks, Wayne. Yeah, I had like a little blip here. I had like a little hiccup. On my end, I lost everything for like 2 seconds. So is that the first lady in chat? Oh, my goodness gracious. What's up, Opal? Opal, I know she had her schedule change, so it's good to have her back. Good to see you. What's up, TLB? You went to go watch UVA women's team beat 8th-ranked Louisville. Go with your daughter. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I do know that, Morris. I do know that about Roth and Tirico. Yep. They're good friends, actually. Mike Tirico is really good at what he does. He is really, really good at what he does. Good to have you back, Opal. She must have the day off today. Be able to get up and join us. I think the thing about Tirico is he's just always so well prepared. I wish he had a better partner on Sunday Night Football, but he's good. He's really good. We've missed you, Opal. We've kept your first lady seat open in chat, though. You're irreplaceable. So trust me, nobody stepped in. We had some peepettes chime in, but no one is going to take your title away. No, he doesn't, Wayne, and I think it's so rare today. I thought Kenny Albert did a great job with the call yesterday. Kenny's really good, too. I like Kenny Albert. He's a great hockey announcer. He does NFL games on Fox, too, but I think you can tell his passion is hockey. And nobody's Mike Emmerich. Mike Emmerich is the best. But Kenny Albert did a nice job. He lets the moments breathe. It was good. Good call. Good call on Jack Hughes' game winner. Good call on the whole scenario that was building throughout that game. Of course it's snowing, Opal, because you're there, you snow bunny. Yeah, the wind is just terrible. I'm telling you, wind and ice. The wind it's just the enemy of everyone. The wind is the enemy of the people. There's no question. Just horrible. Can't drive in it. Can't walk outside in it. Can't do anything outside in it. I mean, that's why this morning it feels like it's 1 degree. And I look down and see the wind's supposed to blow all day long. Yay! And then we're going to get rain all week. Yay! Yeah, Tina, come up and say hi. I'll be down there with Cole Wilder. Come say hello if you're there at the men's game on Thursday. The regular season home finale. I think knowing Radford will be playing in the night session, I think I'm okay. I don't know about the show and the tournament. Not this coming Friday, but the Friday after. I'll keep everybody posted. If we have to alter. We're guaranteed to play either at 6 or at 9. More than likely, we're going to be playing the very late games, so we probably don't need to be down there a lot earlier than that. We'll see. Or I might just take that Friday for the tournament, and we might leave on Thursday. Stay down there. I think we have a room, so hey, there's a concept. So yeah. By the way, Opal, T-Bird is the artist formerly known as TLB because they screwed up somehow. And I got rid of that, by the way. I'm going to start doing it manually again. I did find that out. So when you're gifted the extra stream as we were by YouTube because of our viewing numbers, which is awesome, you get a lot of bots. You get a lot of people chiming in from different places. Some of them are legit. I mean, we have 12 international subscribers to the channel. But some, they just get on. You'll see them from time to time. And they turned on an auto bot filter. For some reason, they called up TLB's account, apparently. And they deleted him. So he had to go in and he had to create another name with YouTube to get back into chat. I tried 3 different things to fix it, and well, for one, they still haven't sent me the proper link. So hopefully that won't happen again, because I took it off of auto and I'm just going to do it myself. So if you see it be a little slower, if you see a bot and you see a comment that you know is just somebody botting, as only bots can, I will delete them myself going forward. Kind of like Thanos. Fine, I'll do it myself. Actual footage of Thanos. By the way, Wayne, see right here, look, it's up. There it is. The super fight playbill is now up and part of the show. There you go. Rocky Balboa and Apollo Creed. The master of disaster, Apollo Creed. You can't make up how good that is, by the way. Thanks, Wayne. Morris says TLB is good, just sitting on his porch, swing strumming his 6th string. Or is that Tebow? Are they both musicians? Is Tebow a musician too? Wow. What we should do is when Jen, at some point, whenever she plays her saxophone, we should put everybody on. Y'all should just do like a jug band special. That'd be great. I did get a lot of texts. People said they watched hockey for the first time in a long time. Hockey's great. Hockey will never catch on as a mainstream out of market for NHL teams. But there's no athletes that love their sport more than hockey players. It's part of who they are. They're on skates from the time they're old enough to walk. And there's no passion from any athlete in any sport greater than hockey players. None. I mean, just look at what's going on in all of our other professional sports. The NBA is an unwatchable joke. Major League Baseball is all about deferring money, and we're going to have one of the largest work stoppages after the 26th season we've ever seen. I think it's going to wipe out the entire 27 season. The NFL is a dwindling product that everyone running the NFL is concerned about everything but the actual game. Hockey players, you just watch it. You think about other athletes who had their teeth knocked out of the same game like Jack Hughes did. Didn't bother him. He knows he's going to get it fixed, and he hits the game winner. I've always marveled at the skating and how they skate better than most people walk. And the things they do is incredible. So I hope people now maybe went, wow, I have to watch more hockey. Yeah, you should. You should. Kudos, by the way. Roanoke has always done a great job with hockey. Every minor league team that we've had in there hockey-wise has succeeded. The Rail Yard Dogs are doing well. The Express, man, Roanoke Express was an absolute happening. Morris says, yeah, right. Jenga player sax for us. I'm guessing maybe this decade. Briscoe Darling could make any sound with his jug if he wanted to. Okay, Wayne. Jack's got the club championships down. But hockey is it's I think there's more of a market for it. I know a lot of people that go watch minor league hockey are going for the event. The fact you get out the fights maybe, and there is a lot of fighting. But Roanoke has always supported it, and for that, I tip my hat to them. Didn't they used to play in Vinton a lot? Wayne, you're a Roanoke guy. Didn't they used to play at the, was it the Lancer lot? Am I making that up? What the hell was the Lancer lot? Well, maybe not. Where did the Express play? They didn't play in the artist formerly known as the Civic Center, did they? Didn't the Express play in Vinton? Am I remembering that right? And now I think the Rail Yard Dogs play in the Civic Center. Who the hell? What's the Lancer lot? What is that? Did I just make that up? Breaking news. So they were the Virginia Lancers, and they played in the Lancer lot. Was that in Vinton? Am I remembering that right? Did they ever play hockey in Vinton? But anyway, that's about all we have. But I know people have supported it. But for the most part, it won't catch on outside of markets. Okay, so the Lancers did play in the Lancer lot. Okay. But the Express played in the artist formerly known as the Civic Center. Gotcha. All right, now I've got it now. At least I'm not just making that up. Oh, maybe I was just remembering things from another lifetime. Morris says, I've never heard so many excuses for Jen not playing. Since my ex-wife ran out on gas in her 1983 Chevy Caprice. Yeah, we got to start putting on some very friendly peer pressure on Jen. Yeah, I'm with you on that. All right, thanks, sir, Brian and Wayne. It was in Vinton. Watched them once 37 years ago. Cool. The Express and Rail Yards are in the Civic Center. Gotcha. Okay. Thought I remembered Vinton somehow. So that was good. That was good. But hockey's great. Their skill level is off the charts, and they absolutely love what they do. I mean, and that showed through yesterday. Thank you, Opal. But, yeah, it was a great moment. I hope people appreciated it. We don't get that much in sports anymore. We just don't. And that was something I was generally excited to watch. I mean, I wasn't generally excited to watch the Super Bowl in any way, shape, or form. So yeah. Wayne says the club team played at the Civic Center for years and now play at the Lancer. Oh, okay. Between the Rosie's betting place here. Wayne spends every other Friday at Rosie's. You know, in MASH, the club they put up was Rosie's. Chad Hyatt, our head athletic trainer. First, they were the Roanoke Valley Rebels, and then they changed their name to the Salem Lancers. And then they played in the Lancer lot. There we go. Thank you. Roanoke Express moved to the Civic Center. Thanks, Chad. See? I was on it. Kind of. Maybe. Never, Opal. Then again, aren't we all? At least I kind of had the lineage of hockey locally now. Text line was popping yesterday during the hockey game. It was great getting all these folks that were sending me stuff about hockey. I'm glad they enjoyed it. Glad they enjoyed it. We'll see, Morris. I have to make sure I get basketball completely out of the way. We'll see where we are in mid-March. But yeah, we have to revisit the BDST gathering at the Super Bowl. Absolutely. We're going to. But let me, I'll tell you what, Morris, I'll have to get with you about that and baseball weekends and things like that. Because I don't want to have anything to do the next day. I want to be able to go over there and have fun. And if I have to get up and travel and go to a game, that's no fun for me. I have to, hey, everybody, y'all have a great time. I got to go home. Got to get in bed. Everybody else having a great time. Where'd Rick go? Oh, he has to get up and leave tomorrow. He needed to be in bed by 9. No, I don't want that. So let me get with you on that. Because obviously, if the Highlanders win the Big South tournament, I'll be busy in mid-March. Yeah, you got to have the next day off. You can't let your hair down. Now, hey, everyone. No, I'm good. I just wanted to come by and say hello. I've got to work tomorrow. What? Get the hell out of here. Everybody have a great time. Be safe. Be done with the work week. Show up over there. And then, boom, we just unleash and have a great time. Yeah. Need to fill up the jukebox with D&B, Imbrulia, and Poison. Yeah, Rick will be. You walk in and do the immediate turnaround like the Simpsons meme when Grandpa Simpson walks into the brothel and he sees Bart. He immediately grabs his coat and turns around. Yeah, if I walk in, by the way, I'm telling you right now, if we do the BDST bash and I walk in and I hear Dave Matthews' song, I'm leaving. As a public service, Rick should give his disgruntled weather report at the top of every hour. That's why I'd be terrible on the Weather Channel. When we, or if I was a local weather guy, as soon as we got a bad snow report. Ooh. Yeah, if you had Panera Bread, you'd probably have to have a chainsaw to cut it properly. So, yeah. Very true, Prometheus. Telling you, man, they respect what they do. They love their game. Wayne just walked outside. Yes. I'd be okay. I don't like the cold, but boy, when we had like a bad snow forecast or ice, then I'd just be taking it out on my colleagues. I think the hardest part would be pointing at the green screen and realizing you're actually pointing at a map that everybody can see on the channel, on the TV. That you can see on that you can see. I'd be pointing. I mean, I'm afraid. I don't know how they do that. I have to figure that part out, but I would nail the rest of it. Oh yeah. Give people public service announcements. And by the way, we're going to get about 12 inches of snow. You don't need to crowd into the grocery. Nobody needs that many loaves of bread. It's going to snow. I got to get my bread, milk, eggs, and cigarettes. Maybe not in that order. Running the snow machine in the yard. Like Leo actually has a snow machine that he put up on. He does it every year. He in the middle of summer, like June or July, when it's 70, 80 degrees, he will create a snowstorm in his yard, and he takes a picture and he dresses up and he's acting like he's shoveling snow. And see, that's weather. That's meteorologist bias right there. I mean, you're showing your bias right there. I mean, if you ever, by the way, even in the worst storms that we've ever had, been unable to move or get out longer than a day, ask yourself that question the next time you think that we have to have 78 different things for the snowstorm. Oh, I'd have fun. I'd be a little loose. I'd be the loose guy, the meteorologist on the report. I'd be everybody's favorite weatherman. Absolutely. We would be comparisons to pop culture. We'd be bringing out, like, I dress in like attire for the weather. Like, I wouldn't be out there. No way in hell I'm going to wear a suit. So I'd be out there, you know, like if it's going to be warm, I'd have a Hawaiian shirt on, my glasses, and my baseball cap. I'd let people know that I'm feeling the vibe of the weather. Same thing in winter. I mean, I think that's what we need to be more entertained. You don't have to be an accurate weatherman, because I've heard everything from a dusting to a foot of snow. Well, I like it just when you're around and you hear people talking about the weather, and then they'll be like, I heard we're going to get 8 inches. Where'd you hear it? That's what they're talking about. Who's they? Everybody. Okay. I trust Kevin Myatt and no one else. Do a little dance, make a little love, get down there. Yeah, and I would have me. Yeah, exactly, Morse. Like if it was going to be a nice warm weekend, yeah, I would do the weather forecast kind of sitting in a beach chair with a beach umbrella, have the green screen beside me, umbrella drink, and playing some tunes like underneath my voice. Let's make people feel good about what they're watching. Right? Would I go back to Rick Allen or be Watson watching the weather? Now, I'd stick with Watson. Unless I went into DJ mode, kind of like the UNC Asheville public service announcement. The guy who does public address. I'm telling you one thing. I normally don't talk like this, but when I turn the microphone on at UNC Asheville home basketball games, I want you to know that I have the ability to make my voice sound like this. If you're going to do all that, just move to Palm Coast. Well, see, I'm doing that for you, Morris, to try to recreate the Palm Coast vibe. See, Keon knows what I'm talking about the Asheville, PA guy. It was incredible how hard that he was working to sound like this throughout the broadcast or throughout the ball game. That's what I'd be doing. Yeah. Flip-flops. Why would you want to be uncomfortable on TV? I don't understand people that wear suits. Call a ball game in a suit. Make it make sense to me. Now, if you're on a national network, I get it. If you're calling NFL Sundays, I get it. But you don't need to be sitting there in a suit doing the weather. Let's make me as uncomfortable as this forecast is going to make you about the horrible winter weekend we're going to have. Yeah, we love the Keon. We do. Getting down the final week of the season coming up in the Big South. 2 weeks left for everybody else. We're one of the early tournaments. We'll be in Johnson City, Tennessee. And I was told I have a room. Yeah. Awesome. I don't know if I'll be by myself, but I do know I'll have a room. So that's good. And we will play the late session on semifinal Friday. We know that because Radford will not fall any further than fourth unless they bomb out this week. Now, they could bomb out this week, but Presby's not beating High Point and Winthrop. Man, the schedule makers punished Presbyterian. Jeez. I don't know if Neil's going or not. I have no idea. I don't think Neil's going. I think we have too many home events. I'm not sure. I never know. It's always great, though, when you're coming back and you're solo. You know, the drive to Asheville's great. The drive back is not good when you're by yourself because you lose. You don't have anybody to bounce off of. You're just you're already tired because you've been gone 11 hours. And the good part about this past Saturday was I call them my convoys. You get someone who's really moving down the road. And I like to maybe apply a heavy gas pedal from time to time. And you know what? If that dude's not getting a ticket, I'm not going to get a ticket. And so then you just kind of follow the convoy. I had a sports car I followed out of Asheville all the way into Tennessee. Then as soon as I hit 81 in Tennessee, about 3 or 4 miles down the road, here comes this big old, I don't know what it was. Looks like some kind of Ram. And that dude he took me all the way just into Marion. And I got the pedal to the metal. I'm eastbound and down. So that helped. And that day we called that guy our front door. Yeah, I like that. So yeah, I had some assistance in my journey on Saturday night getting back. A little chaperone action. They didn't know that, but here comes that white van with Radford on the side again, passing everybody. But in any event, last week of the regular season for Radford Hoops. And then we get into stick and ball sports. We got actually a busy weekend for me. Basketball on Thursday, baseball on Friday, road basketball Saturday, baseball on Sunday. So, see, that's the kind of weekend I can't have, and we can have the BDST meetup. If I have a game the next day, I won't be able to go to the BDST meetup. I'll have to wait. So that's what I need to figure out more. So I'll look at the schedule. I know we're going to have some, maybe at least one weekend, maybe two, where there's not anything happening on a Saturday. So I'll let you know. But yeah, those are good when you get the front door guy, TLB. Front door guy is a good guy to get behind and just follow. I don't know. I swear, though, I don't know what kind of car it was, a Maserati or something. But the dude, just as I was getting out of Asheville, I swear he kept it at 100 miles per hour. I mean, I was losing him, or he was losing me. I'm like, wow. And then I thought maybe he'd turned off, but no, I got and saw his light. just flying through 26 into 81. Absolutely flying. And I wasn't flying like that, but I was trying to stay within at least backlight sight, you know. And then he got stuck behind some trucks, and then I saw him. He turned off. And very sad. But then came my big old Ram truck guy. Ram truck guy was good. Once I get into Marion, all right, I'm good. I'm awake now. I'm good to go. ReadySetFun.com. Thank you so much to Bob Christ Give him a email, bobcrst11@gmail. Professional Door Incorporated, sponsor of our text line. Thanks to Travis Williams. Family owned and operated, 38 years in business. National Bank member FDIC, thanks to Larry Ramsey. Exclusive banking partner of this program, Lawson's Mobile Home Supply, 540-381-8011. The NRV Super Bowl, we've been talking about them a lot this morning, 382-5525. Our BDST fan question of the week, we had to come up with one, sponsored by the attorney Ryan Pry. Haven't thought of one yet. I'll do that sometime today. Little River Heating and Air, 1095 Radford Street in Christiansburg. Charles Lee and Company, Pulaski County Sports Entertainment, the presenting sponsor of this program. McClellan Chiropractic, Mark Hundley, right off of Walters Drive, 155 Walters Drive, and Family Fencing Studios, sponsor of our studios, thanks to Jason Green and Company. I'm going to utilize them this summer. I haven't figured it out yet. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to call them for their advice and a free quote. That's what I'm going to do. We can get Coach Elmo on here in just a second. Coach Elmo had a good dinner last night. He showed me a picture. Aha, look at that. We've turned her. Opal. Oh, my goodness. I'm going to hang that post in the Louvre, Opal. I must admit, I'm ready for spring. See? Told you. You were so wrong about winter and snow. Moore says, like last time I got pulled over for doing 85, I asked the cop, what about the Porsche? They went by doing 100. Cop says, I was going to get him until you showed up. She says my comments weren't showing up. I thought you blocked me. No, and I did not block TOB. This somehow StreamYard/YouTube did. Never, ever. I love chat. Gets me going on a Monday. Coach Elmo and Todd Grantham here on the Monday edition of the program. Yeah, Coach Elmo was at the Chop House. He sent me a picture. He and his lovely wife at the Chop House. So we'll talk to him about all that. Coach Steiny at Roanoke College announced his football camps. Wanted me to pass it along. They have the mega camp on May 16th. That's 9th grade through college sophomores. Quarterback camp on June 14th. That's 1st grade through 12th grade. A youth camp July 7th through the 10th, kindergarten through 7th grade. And then July the 12th, they have a skills camp, 1st grade through 12th grade. So you want your young person to get some good football tutelage, go to Coach Stein Springs Roanoke College football camps. Yeah, he'll do a good job. Joining us now on the program is that gentleman. He always does a good job. It's Coach Elmo. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Good morning.
Hey, how was the Chop House?
It was great. I mean, it's, anytime we get a chance to come down here, and we'll leave Sunday morning and go to the brunch, do a double header. We have brunch. It's like a gospel brunch, and the place is slammed. And then we take a rest and come back for dinner.
Well, that's good. What'd you get on the main course?
The New York strip is ridiculous. The way how they cook it, the caliber of meat it is, and it's worth every penny. Thing is when you walk in the place, it's so vibrant. All the university influx in Charleston Southern, Charleston University, and there's a lot of young people coming in there, students, and it's just a great vibe. And the owners, Tommy and Billy, we've gotten to know them. We've been going there for the last 5-6 years. We get down there about 2 or 3 times a year, and they're a lot of fun. They are and they treat us great. I mean, they don't have to, and it's a who's who. Sometimes you'll walk in and he'll come grab me and go, "Hey, the defensive coordinator, the recruiting coordinator from Clemson's here tonight. I want you to meet him. And so it's just a blast.
Do you ever, like, I was thinking about, when you watch what happened yesterday with Team USA and you watch hockey players and the way they go about their approach, don't you wish that every kid that you've ever looked at to recruit would have that same love for what they do? Nothing comes close to how hockey players play their game, in my opinion.
I grew up with it, Rick. Growing up in Massachusetts, it is and having coached and lived in Minnesota, I've lived in basically the two hockey states where hockey, especially in Massachusetts, hockey has been number one through the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. It is still number one.
Yeah, right.
And you couldn't get a Boston. I went to one Boston Bruins game in my whole life, and those tickets were like gold.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't get them. There's a 10-year waiting list for season tickets. And the high school hockey, when they do the playoffs and stuff, they played in the old Garden when I was growing up, and my high school team made it to the regional playoffs, and place was packed. High school hockey. And then you got the influx of back in the day, I was explaining to my wife Janet, I said, what people don't realize in the significance of the Canadian hockey team, I grew up with when it was the original six.
Yes, right.
Toronto,
right.
Montreal, Detroit, Boston, Chicago, and New York. I don't know if I left one out, but and they were all Canadians. The rarity of an American-born hockey player playing in the National Hockey League, it was, if you want to use the term segregated, there was no such thing.
100%.
No,
yeah.
No, you had no chance of making a national hockey team. And then all of a sudden the collegiate hockey just became, all of a sudden BU, BC, and having coached at Boston College too, having coached at Minnesota, I would always go to the hockey games. And they were packed. Places were packed. And, there's a thing in Massachusetts in December called the Beanpot Tournament. And it's usually basically BU, BC, Northeastern, and Harvard. That's what the original tournament was. I think they've changed it, and they've had an open invite like UNH will show up and whatever. It's 4 days of hockey, and it is sold out. You can't get a ticket.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it was great. And they are the toughest human being that ever laced up.
No question. No question about it.
They're skates, but when they tie them laces on, there is absolutely no doubt.
So you're at BC, and football is the second favorite sport.
No doubt. No. Here's Rick. Let me tell you, in Massachusetts, and to this day, I still think it's right, but it was the Bruins were 1, the Red Sox are 2, the Celtics were 3, and the Patriots were 4.
Yeah.
I don't know how many Super Bowls. They could have won 20 Super Bowls. Bruins are number 1.
Yep.
Always will be. And then when they moved from the old Garden into the Fleet Center, the new Garden, it was sad. The old Garden was tremendous. You talk about the personality of the blue collar. Just right in Charlestown, right across the river in Charlestown, Massachusetts. You ever see the movie The Town, obviously, with Ben Affleck about the bank robbers?
Yeah.
It had more bank robbers per square mile than any other place in the country when I was growing up. And that's where the Garden was. And it was blue collar. You had the north end of Boston was the Italian section, and the south end was the Irish. And it was so ethnic back in the day. And Watertown, a lot of Armenians, which is my ethnicity background, and that was like a little Armenia. So, and to this day, it still has the same vibe. But when they moved out of the Garden, it went to the wine and cheese crowd. It went from this blue collar, grandmothers in there, and and then all of a sudden it's the Harvard class crowd that's going to the Bruins games now. So you get the golf clap.
Yeah, nobody wants that. Yeah.
But it's still hockey still is number one. I love watching hockey on TV because it is what they can do on ice with that puck and the accuracy and how they play. And when you score a goal, it is the efforts are to get that thing in that net is like something you've never seen.
No, it was, and yesterday was emotional. I mean, that goal and the exuberance, and then when they brought Johnny Gaudreau's kids out, he'd passed a teammate. I mean, that whole thing was very genuine, and I thought NBC did a great job of capturing it.
It could have been better with the rivalry with Canada.
I know.
That's where the game was basically.
I know, it's great. I know, it was perfect. It was perfect.
And they're like, their crap doesn't stink, and it's our game, not your game, and it comes down to that. You could see that even when they had that world tournament, last year, and the Chachuk brothers, both of them started fights in the 9 seconds.
Yeah, I know. I love it. Coach,
you know what you need to do? You need to go YouTube this, Rick. If you got time, really want to be entertained, YouTube the Big Bad Bruins. Back in the 60s, late 60s with Bobby Orr and Esposito. When there were fights, there was a guy named Pie McKenzie was a forward, and especially when they're playing Toronto or Montreal, and all of a sudden there's gloves and sticks all over the ice, and everyone's fighting.
Helmetless. They were helmetless too. They didn't have helmets.
Oh, yeah. How about that? No helmets.
No helmets.
Yeah. No, get a chance, watch it, and watch Bobby Orr and how he revolutionized the game. He was signed by the Bruins at like 14 years old, literally signed by the Bruins at 14. And a great athlete and a humbled human being. I think you'd enjoy it if you
I will.
Yeah,
I'll check that out.
Cool,
Coach. Did you know Ronyell Whitaker very well?
You know what? I remember at the time he was coming out. I think he was coming out of high school. Early 2000s? I think I believe that, Rick. I saw that on your deal, and I was trying to think to myself, I don't know, did he play at Lake Taylor High in Norfolk? I can't remember the high school. I know he was a Tidewater kid, and I know he was a really outstanding defensive back for Coach Beamer. And, at a time, you think about, there was a time there from like 99 on to the late 2000s. That was defensive back university. They were cranking out NFL DBs like you couldn't be. And one thing, Rick, I want to always bring up the greatest compliment to Coach Beamer, which is a lot of people. It's not, I don't even think Virginia Tech does a good enough job of publicly making this known factor. Think about all the pairing brothers that played at Virginia Tech.
It's true.
I don't know if there's any other school in the country that had as many brothers at Virginia Tech. I can't name them all off the top of my head, but the Edmonds, whose dad played at Maryland. You talk about the ultimate compliment to a coach when you have a kid coming to your university and his brother decides to come join his brother. Brothers are going to tell you, don't come here. They're going to tell you the truth about the place.
That's right.
It is, to me, the greatest badge of respect and accountability and all the things you want in a program is summed up with how many siblings, how many brothers have decided to play with each other at a university. And I think that Virginia Tech has had the most. I really believe that. They don't publicize that enough for Frank. They don't. Because that to me is the ultimate compliment to a coach, to me.
That's a terrific point. I know it gets talked about the lineage of brothers, but it's not been – someone should do like a documentary piece just on that, right? As Tech got going.
No mistake about it.
That would be cool. That would be cool.
There's a lot of, I know this, I've seen it where I remember I was recruiting Atlanta, and there was one young man, great player, was playing for Georgia. I think Todd was the coordinator at the time. When I was recruiting Atlanta for Purdue, and this one brother ended up going to Alabama. He didn't go to Georgia. Well, there's reasons for that. He said, hey, don't come here. Or anything that's negative, that brother's going to tell the brother. And not that they make that decision that it's negative, but the point being is, he said there was so many there's so many brothers that put that Virginia Tech uniform on, I couldn't keep count. And that was the ultimate compliment to me about who Frank Beamer was and the program he ran.
100%. That's a great idea. I like that. We have to look into that. It might be something that might be good. Well, yeah, it's sad. And I know Dwight, he talked to him about it on Thursday, but it's not good. It's just, you hate that a young person like that, and we'll get more details. It's tragic. And I hope they do something to pay homage. They need to do something now. Tech's lost Ronyell, and of course, they lost Mr. Worsham. I mean, they need to do something to make sure that they pay attention to that. I hope they do.
They will. Virginia Tech, and you think about it, there's one thing that I think Virginia Tech does a great job of is reaching out to the players. Even, I mentioned this before, the 86 team, the Bill Dooley, Chris Kinzer, Billy Myers, all those guys.
Yeah.
That was a team they wanted to forget. Not the team and the players and the results, but just the era, that Bill Dooley era. They literally buried it. I mean, and all of a sudden Frank went on to take Virginia Tech into the national spotlight. And then in 2001 or 2, I can't remember, they finally honored that 86 team. They unveiled outside the weight room. They had all the bowls, bowl teams, recognitions, and they finally recognized that team and embraced that team and that era of football, because it was a 10-win team. 9 wins, but actually a forfeit gives you 10, and was 10-1-1, and the only bowl win in the history of the school. And those kids were such great kids. And you talk about, like you said, here Coach Dooley comes in the 3rd game of the year. We just beat Clemson at Clemson, which had never been done. And we go to Syracuse, and he comes in and says, I'm no longer the coach at Virginia Tech, and goes down and tells that football team, and that football team was pissed off. They loved Bill Dooley, and they vowed, I have the headlines, I kept the headlines in Roanoke Times, we're going to win out. And they did. And, amazing story, and so.
Did they just not? Were they trying to, just because of Coach Dooley, they didn't want to honor that team? Is that what it was? They wanted to forget.
Yeah, just all this, because it was a mess. I mean, Bill did when Bill Dooley left Carolina to take Virginia Tech job. That was a big deal, because Bill Dooley literally changed the ACC in terms of making football an important part of it. You get back in the mid to late 60s, the Bill Dooley came in, then Lou Holtz came to the ACC, then Jerry Claiborne came to the ACC. And next thing you know, the ACC is going to bowls and winning bowl games. And all of a sudden, it's not just a basketball conference. It became a football conference. And when he left Carolina to come to Virginia Tech, his last Carolina team, Rick, there were, I think I'm pretty accurate on this, Rick, that 17 out of his 22 starters are from the state of Virginia. Lawrence Taylor, Amos Lawrence, Buddy Curry, Kenny Sheets. I can go on and name. These are all American high school players. And, he'd go into Tidewater and just clean it out. Virginia Tech had no chance. No chance. So when he comes to Virginia Tech, next thing you know, he's bringing in Cyrus Lawrence, Bruce Smith. He had some Jesse Penn from Martinsville, and he had some Ashley Lee from Southampton. Next thing you know, he's keeping kids in the state of Virginia, and he did a great job getting Virginia Tech as an independent on TV, going to some bowls.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I don't know what happened. We never knew. He never brought it up. All of a sudden, they decided they did not want the dual roles as football coach, athletic director. Well, Coach Dooley was in competition with his brother Vince, and Vince was the AD head football coach, and that was a brother competition. In no way was he giving up both jobs. He was not going to do that. You fire me as AD, then because they said, oh, wait, you just be the AD, because he had 7 years left on a 10-year contract. And they were going to separate the jobs. And he said, nope, not doing that. You fire me as the AD, you're firing me as a football coach. And he, again, another Roanoke Times headlines, lawsuit for $3.5 million. And he won. His attorney, I knew Rabbit Moore out of Richmond. And Rabbit, we were out one night, and they had won the case. I don't know how much he got out of that, but Rabbit said to me, he says, no way should we have won this. No way. And apparently the attorney for Virginia Tech screwed it up. They fired him, her, I can't remember. So it was and then, Frank comes in there and the NCAA sanctions. There's no money. Dave Brain inherited an absolute mess. They couldn't even keep ADs. Remember, they had the old Dutch Barkman.
Yeah.
It was a disaster. It was an absolute disaster. And Frank so they just wanted to just put a lid on it and move on. And it was all about Frank and the program at that time. But they did honor it. So getting to the point, sorry for the long-winded.
No, it's good. It's good stuff.
I always thought Virginia Tech has done a good job of acknowledging people in the program. I know when I go back there, they don't have to, but you're treated the right way, knowing that you put some blood, sweat, and tears into the program.
Yeah, you say that. I forget that, Tech's an independent until what, 91? Is that when the Big East started?
Big East changed everything.
Yeah, that's crazy to think about. Not that long ago, really. It's really not that long ago, to be honest with you. 91's when they got into a conference in football.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Is that right? Yeah, they weren't part of any conference, were they?
Until the Big East. Big East started when I was at Syracuse, was the first official year of the Big East Conference, 91, 92.
91, yeah.
Yeah, and Syracuse. And then it was Syracuse, Miami. We were the, as they would say, cock of the walk in the Big East. We had great teams. We lost to them 92, lost to Miami. They were undefeated. We lost them like 16-14. It was a great game. They won the game. We beat the crap out of them.
Right. Well, that was that league was the Big East was fun. It was fun, and it bred that Tech Miami rivalry and those great quarterbacks that Syracuse continued to have, and it's just that whole lineage is fun to follow. We need to do a closer look at that Tech's independence into the Big East. That's kind of cool.
I tell you, at some point in time, I think getting Coach Brain, I call him Coach, is getting Coach Brain on. You talk about a man that lived it and got.
Yeah, we got to do that. We got to get him on with you. Yeah, we got to do that. That'd be great. You talk about history.
It is a storybook in terms of, you talk about the planets being in line of the turnaround, but all of a sudden, with the Big East Conference, next thing you know, you win the conference, you go to the Sugar Bowl. You're Big East champions, which they were in 95, won 10 straight after going 0-2. Ended up winning 10 straight and winning the Big East, and now playing Texas and beating Texas in the Sugar Bowl. That was unheard of.
Right.
Unheard of. and which launched the program. But they did a great job of bringing those kids back. Todd Grantham came back for it. Billy Myers seeing all these wonderful. Got Jeff Williams was there, and it was great. And I was one of the only coaches. There are 5 of them that passed away. Tom Throckmorton had passed away. Coach Dooley had passed away. Fletcher at that time passed away. Pat Watson. So they called me. I wasn't going to go. Carter Wiley called me up. He says, "Coach, you got to come. There's no coaches. There's no other coaches coming to this. You're the only one, But I said, I'll do it. And I'm glad I did.
That's cool. Well, it's your track. I mean, we got to figure out a way to get you a book written. Your journey would fascinate a lot of people. Your book would be the kind of book Bill Belichick would have up at his library that he would just go to. He always talks about reading these books about longtime coaches and things like that. Your book would show up on his shelf. That's the kind of book it would be.
Well, I don't know about that, but one thing too, I was going to say, Rick, what a basketball weekend this weekend was between the Duke-Michigan game, which was just and the Miami-Virginia game. That game, I've never seen as many lead changes. It was like constant possession. Every possession was a lead change, just about. 2 really good, well-coached basketball teams. And then I realized that, and I saw that they had Tony Bennett's. They named the court for Coach Bennett. Well, it was really kind of cool. When I was coaching at Wisconsin, his dad was the basketball coach, Dick Bennett, when I was at Wisconsin. And when we used to do golf tournaments, and I remember sitting down because if you scored 50 on Wisconsin, that was a good day.
Yeah.
Because his defense, and his son was the same thing, played great defense, and the offense will take care of itself. And I figured, okay, I'm a defensive back coach. I got to figure out how this guy's. We sat down one time. He's explaining to me how he over my head, Rick. It was over my head. And his daddy was a great guy, just unassuming. They had to beg him to take the job. He was coaching at Green Bay, Wisconsin. And they had to literally beg him to take the job. And Wisconsin, as far as national basketball, he brought it into the national limelight.
Was there a coach, as you were playing and you went back on your coaching career, was there a coach that you tried to emulate? Not copy, but I mean stuff that you borrowed from that you realized if you were going to be a successful coach, you remembered how that, enticed you as a young player and how you wanted to express that to the guys you were coaching?
Well, Coach Norton probably had as much of an influence
Coach Norton,
having played and coached with them in terms of personnel, people.
Yeah.
When you talk about a people, he wasn't necessarily a player's coach, but he valued those players. I guess the best word I can describe it. The best time working for Hank was in the off season, the fun time for Coach Norton, the time I've seen him smile the most and enjoy it when he got to place kids. When all of a sudden kids are going to Virginia or Duke, Virginia Tech, Georgia Tech. That was his most as rewarding as the national championships were.
I bet,
when these snot-nosed kids, for whatever reasons, weren't big enough, didn't check any boxes for anybody, and 2 years later, they're going on and affecting the universities they're going to, turning around winning. Phil Mosser is a great story, running back that goes to William Mary, and next thing you know, they're going to the Tangerine Bowl, and he's the Southern Conference Athlete of the Year, and he's the captain. And to this day, Coach Holtz will tell you he owes his career to Phil Mosser because Phil Mosser put Lou Holtz on the map. And,
I wonder if it was Coach Norton. I kind of thought it might be. I wasn't sure if there was somebody before that.
Coach Holtz, both those two guys, like I mentioned before when we were talking about Lou, how he did it, how he turned programs around, and the way he did it, and having been a part of it and seen it as a player, as a coach, I said, okay, this is going to be my calling. I would say out of all the jobs I had, somewhere between 10 and 15 of them, something was wrong, and that's why I was hired. I was hired to fix things, whether it was the position of defensive back or being a coordinator. And a lot of times it worked, and sometimes it didn't, Rick.
What was the worst? What was the worst situation you walked into? When you had to,
oh boy,
which one was the absolute dredge?
Oh, Virginia Tech wasn't no one wanted the job. I was like the third choice. He offered the job to John Gutekunst. I think Goody turned him down. I've always been a B team guy, Rick. I was second choice from a lot of places. Okay, let's go hire this guy. What the hell? Everyone else turned it down. Virginia Tech was probably the most challenging. BC was a mess, which then turned into the gambling scandal back in '96, national gambling scandal, which was a disaster. And that's another story. When we found out at the halftime of Pitt game that kids were betting, and it was a mess. It was an absolute mess. But Virginia Tech was probably the most challenging, but then again, the most gratifying as far as the challenges were concerned.
And you left it in a much better place. Everywhere you went, you left it in a much better place than it was when you got
I've always said, Rick,
right?
People got their money's worth one way or another, I mean, how much I was paid, and, basically we squeezed literally 2 to maybe 3 years of work into one. That was still a 2-year away situation. And I love when Dave finally called me and he goes, look, I need just help me bring discipline back in the program. That's the exact conversation. He said, I have no money. He said, I'll give you a 2-year contract. Now, if we don't win next year, I've got to fire Coach Beamer, and I can't guarantee you will be here. I said, oh, gee, Dave, that sounds great. I'll take the job. All these wonderful incentives.
I love it. Well,
but
at least
the 2-year contract was good because I could tell the players. I got a 2-year contract, so it don't matter. I'm good.
Well, at least you weren't the second choice for your wife. So there you go. So
that worked out great. That was came down to Myrtle Beach and probably having a great retirement, and being on your show and doing Greg's show has been a good bridge for me in terms of getting away from football, but I still get to be a part of it. And then I'll get some calls from some people sometimes, I'll go visit Roanoke College. I'll go visit Tech, UVA in the spring, and that.
Well, I know Todd's going to have you down at UAB. He wants to have you down to watch these guys.
What he says. Like I said, hey, you got to be my agent, man. You got to be my go-between.
Yeah, we'll work on it. Yeah.
He did text me. He said this one defensive back who was when I ranked him, this kid from Sacramento State, DB, he was my number one guy. I said, this is the number one. Here's number 2, 3, and 4. They were good players, but this guy was the complete player. Could play, I think, multiple positions. And Todd did text me. He goes, he's really, really happy with him. His kid's doing a great job.
There you go.
I told him, I said, hey, look, if some of these kids that I said could play can't, you got to let me know. I said, I'd like to find out what my evals were, how bad they were.
Wayne's asking, since you're in Charleston, is it Dunkin' or Krispy Kreme donuts for you?
Dunkin'.
Dunkin'.
I'm a Dunkin' guy.
You're a Dunkin' guy.
I'm a Dunkin' guy. I go to Dunkin', get my medium hot coffee and a Boston cream.
And you're good. You're ready to go.
Matter of fact, when I get off this show and we leave, that's exactly what I'm going to do. You just see those commercials with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. The first Dunkin' Donuts, I remember the very first one back in the 50s was on Route 9. It's right between a couple of towns. And Dunkin' Donuts.
Very cool.
It was a New England-based, a Boston-based franchise.
Didn't take you long to answer that question. You were all over that. So
nope, Dunkin'. Krispy Kreme.
Well, Coach, it's great to talk to you as always. Go enjoy your donuts and your coffee. You
well,
and your wife.
Thanks for having me on. When I got your text, I texted you back. I wanted to give you a little chuckle. I said, "You keep having me on. YouTube's going to think you need to get drug tested."
And then I fired back, I would likely fail. So there we go. We'd be good. Everything's good.
Well, Coach Norton told me, he said, "Boy, thank God you didn't do drugs, because if you did, you'd be dead in a day." Because I've never done anything in moderation. There was no such thing as AB or Rick. No such
thing. See, exactly. I'm the same way still. Yeah, you don't just have one. No.
No. Not when you're living in Franklin County.
Cheers.
All right, buddy.
And we'll talk to you again.
That was fun. Appreciate it.
That was. Thanks, man. Be good. It's Coach Elmo. Good stuff. Yeah, Wayne, Massachusetts guy. Of course, he's going to go to Dunkin'. TLB says, so sad the day I drove by Krispy Kreme in Salem. Yeah, I haven't. I don't know. I don't really have a donut preference. I don't think. Now that I think about it, I don't know if I have a donut preference or not. Okay, let me ask chat. You brought it up. Is it Dunkin' or Krispy Kreme for y'all? Yeah, Coach Elmo's great, man. So glad he found the show. I'm so glad he reached out. That's great. Such great insight. What a great career. Keon's saying the only answer is Krispy Kreme. Jason Tickle. Hey, Jason, I'm glad you're off today, brother. Welcome. Dunkin' all day. Wayne, is that a Dunkin'? Is that a Dunkin' vote for you? I think I'm more of a Krispy Kreme guy. I don't recall going into a Dunkin'. But I do recall going in and getting the fresh ones at Krispy Kreme, getting a box of those. That's a dilemma. I mean, neither one is bad, right? Fresh, hot Krispy Kreme, yeah. Chocolate covered with either way. The Boston cream inside or the strawberry or raspberry middle. Yeah. Keon, what's your favorite one? If I wanted cake, I'd go to a birthday party. What's your favorite donut at Krispy Kreme, KB? Let's get Keon's favorite. It's got to be a jelly. It's got to be a filled donut. I like the chocolate with the Boston cream or whatever it is inside, whatever that's good stuff. Jelly. Or just something. Yeah. He likes just the plain glaze. Yeah, those are good too. When they're warm. Yeah. I think we're a Krispy Kreme group here on the program. Now, I understand Coach's preference. You know, that makes sense. Okay, we had one Dunkin' vote. I would rather have bacon and eggs personally. Well, yeah, there is that. Or how about just bacon? If that hot light is on, I might wreck my car trying to get over, Keon says. There you go. Well, I can say this. I remember quite a few trips with Mike Jones on the road, and we would make a beeline for the Krispy Kreme. So, yeah. Boston cream is Jason's favorite. Yeah, I mean, I could walk out of here every day with just a plate of 5 or 6 pieces of bacon, and that's all I need. But that's not healthy. Okay. Maybe you should eat some alternate. Maybe you should eat a vegan bacon. Or maybe I could just stop living. How about some turkey bacon? You want some of that? No, I really don't. But you see what Coach Elmo said there. It's kind of like what I've been talking about with Morris about our BDST meetup. A beer is fine. Multiple beers is better. You know, I get sad for, you know, who I get sad for amongst most groups in this country is when I hear people say, I don't like beer. It's because you haven't had good beer. I don't like wine. I think all wine tastes the same. I don't like wine. I'm not going to have the educated, filtered palate of wine. I think if you're sitting there and you're swigging a glass of wine, you're just trying too hard. Dude, just give me my favorite beer. And my favorite beer is brewed in Pennsylvania. Lion's Head is my favorite beer. It actually showed up on an episode of The Office back in the day. Tebow says, the same guy that says bacon isn't healthy just left Taco Bell. Get out of here. Exactly. Bacon's meant to be had one way. And once you make the commitment to it, don't start telling me about all the health. Just stop. Getting lots of text about the goaltending yesterday. Yep, no doubt. He's Winnipeg's goalie, Connor Hellenbuch. I've heard it both ways. I'm going to go with Bach, Connor Hellenbuch. 41 saves, outstanding. Jeez Louise, that save. And here, I've got a picture of it. Of all the great pictures, and this picture, by the way, should be on every cereal box, should be on the headline of every paper, but unfortunately, we are now a divided country. That picture of Jack Hughes there should be everywhere, on every website, everywhere. But there is the goalkeeper. But here's the shot of him, and there's the stop. That was a dead-eye look. And what you miss with that shot is the deflection. The puck then trickled by the line right here on this trajectory down toward his left. But no doubt, chat, you're all over it. No, crispy is not the best bacon. People are wrong about that. There's a fine line between crispy and making it limber to where you can actually have the flavor of the bacon. Go ahead, burn it up just like you do your steak. Take all the flavor out of it. That's fine. A handful of bacon on some fine Panera shingles. Well, no. We have a local place here, Morris says, called Swillerby's, most amazing donut and bakery shop ever. Yingling is his favorite. If you don't like beer, you are at Conyers. Prometheus say, oh, yeah, Carol Lee's is great. Donuts at Carol Lee's, yeah, that's a luxury, man. Woo. Thunder says, I'm thinking of a donut-shaped slice of brisket. Oh, speaking of that. So one of the benefits of getting to an arena early, and the sports information director at Asheville is outstanding. Cassie Butcher, she's great. And so she sets up, and they were having their alumni weekend. A lot of former players came back, so everybody was in a festive mood down there. And she goes, you hungry? I said, yeah, I can eat. So she goes, I'm going to bring you a hot dog. I said, well, I've had hot dogs. She goes, no, this is chili made with brisket. So I'm like, okay, yes, please. And she brings me, it was a chili dog with just chili. The chili meat was just brisket. And I'm telling you, it was outstanding. Outstanding. So I had chili made with brisket. And you can see the pieces of brisket laying in. Oh, it's really good. Really good. Thanks, Cassie. I hate you won the game, but thank you for the chili dog. It was outstanding. Prometheus's beer is Two Hearted by Bell's. Okay. Hey, there's no wrong answer on what you like, man. No judgment. It's great. Whatever you like. Lion's Head is I like a fine pilsner. I'm not big on I don't drink the heavy IPAs. I don't like the heaviness and the bitterness of it. I think that's why I don't like wine. Yeah. No, I don't eat like George with the ice cream. Although it would be nice to keep some there for later, right? At each media timeout. Oh, hang on. Huh. It's good, though. It's good. Very good. But, yeah, Lion's Head. It's crisp. It's clean. Everybody that I've asked to try it has loved it, which makes me feel good. Chad Hyatt, the aforementioned Chad Hyatt, I consider him the beer connoisseur in my life. Not to indicate in any way that I think Chad's an alcoholic. I guess that didn't sound good. But Chad knows his way around adult beverages because he tries a lot of things and he has a really large palate. And he liked it. He liked it. What's up, David Mabry? I'm not huge on bourbon. I'm not huge on I'm basically a beer guy. From time to time, maybe. Used to be a big tequila guy, and that didn't ever work out well. Because, I don't know, when I fought, I kind of had an angry nature, and it always made me angry. Made me angrier. Made me very aggressive. So, yeah, whatever spirits you like, it's your spirits. And I know that everyone here drinks responsibly. So, I don't do it very often. Like, I don't drink much. But when I'm in the mind to, I want to enjoy the beverages, you know. I like beer is really good with a good steak. But if you say you don't like it, it's because you're drinking common swill. You're not drinking beer. You're just drinking commercial stuff. I'm surprised no one has mentioned National Bohemian, affectionately known as Natty Bows. Tequila makes most people break out in handcuffs. Jason likes Miller Lite. Light beer for Miller. The best commercials to this day of any beverage. Like IPA sometimes. Easter Divide in Blacksburg. Oh, yeah, we're going to have the baseball guys on. Yeah, we're going to do that with Alex Guerra. 5-2 now are the Highlanders. Tech had a good weekend, too, on the diamond. Yeah, we're going to have some of these guys on. You're going to love these baseball players. I'm telling you, man. These are terrific young dudes, and you're going to have a good time with that. I've reached out to Tech about Megan Duffy, so I'll let you know about that. Have not heard back yet. I've heard that's kind of been par for the course from not her, but from the way they're doing things over there. So I'm giving it a shot, and we'll see. I don't know why it's that way, but it is. So we'll see if I can get her on here. But I'd like to talk about her team. They're playing very well here. Got the tournament coming up. See if they can make a run. So, yeah, we are trying. We are trying as best as I can to get those folks on here. Everybody keeps asking, where's Will Stewart? Well, Will always takes this time off until we get close to spring. Plus, he's trying to figure some things out since they don't have access right now. Buffalo Trace is Jason's bourbon of choice. What do you think, David? David Mabry, what's your bourbon of choice? I can't remember what Jen's is. Can't remember. She has a specific one she likes. It's like a who's who in bourbon brands when you go to Jen's. She's got a collection. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Single malts from Scotland. Step up. A nice Heineken Zero. Well, no. No, Wayne. Weller. Okay. I guarantee you Jen has probably got a bottle of Weller in her. That's okay, T-Bird. Hey, no problem with that, TLB. Never has drank much. I don't either. I don't. It's very seldom. Very seldom. But when I do, I get completely plastered. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I'm not going to just have one. Thank you very much for the alcoholic beverage. Better not take any more. You got to get up to work tomorrow. You're that guy. Yeah. Why don't you just leave? Rick, just leave. I dip my salad in my Heineken Zero. It makes no sense to me. Non-alcoholic beer. Make it make sense. You can be trained, TLB, Morris says. As you can see, there are many instructors on this podcast. What does it say about us? It's 7:30 in the morning, and we're talking about booze. Here. Well, when we have Big Dog Pop getting underway in the evenings, there's going to be active beverage consumption during the show. That's going to be a different type of show. That's funny. That's funny. Bunch of damn drunks. That's what we are. I've lost. There we go. Are we back? That's the second time I've blipped out there. Did y'all see that? Are we good? Are we back? That's the second time we've had a blip. I don't know if it's the cold or what. It says I'm back now here. It's the second time it's done that. Let me know, chat. Can you see me? If not, I'll have to reboot here before we get Todd on. Somehow I don't think we're good anymore. We good? Okay, we are back. Okay, good. We had a couple blips today. That's okay. We've had nothing as bad as was it last Monday when I thought I was on and y'all couldn't see me? That was weird, but we fixed it in like 3 minutes. And that's what's great about this format. That's probably the biggest problem I'm going to have unless we lose internet, and there's nothing I can do about that. But it wasn't like that when I was doing just radio because someone else is responsible for it. And you're like, well, that's not working. Can we fix that, please? No, you're going to be off for a couple of days. Oh, great. Yeah. So here, at least I can. The only thing that's going to mess me up is power. And if the internet is down, then, then I'll get the phone and I'll just do like a little live thing and do it that way. Yes, Blake, he hit me up on the professional door text line. We have talked about hockey a lot today. Absolutely. Great moment yesterday in American sports, really history. First gold since 1980, 46 years to the day, which is wild. And the bitter Canadian reactions are wonderful. Those Canadian tears are delicious on a Monday morning. lots of, well, anybody who watched saw who the better team was. Okay. What color was your medal around your neck, and what color was around the medal of the U.S. players? And then their coach, well, I really don't think the format was great in overtime. Well, okay. Last time I checked, both teams, it was 3-on-3 for both teams, right? It wasn't like a 5-on-3 for Team USA. Let's just come up with everything we can think of that the sport that we originated and created, Canada, is now second best to the United States. Nathan McKinnon just needs to stop talking. Just needs to stop talking. All right, thanks, everybody. We're good now. Yeah, I don't trust the blips. Don't trust the blips. Or at least I don't trust the aftermath of the blips, you know. But I hope this team gets talked about, and I hope it gets the run that it deserves. It is on X. I'm looking at it today, and it's all over the place. That photo of Jack Hughes is everywhere with the broken teeth and the blood, as it should be. Lots of memes of people making fun of the modern access media and what they're trying to turn this into. What they will try to turn this into. It's very funny. The best ones are what they're saying that the what Netflix would turn this into. Those are funny. Those are very funny. I'll send Todd his invite here. Matt Roan joins us Wednesday, by the way. Good luck, Bob Chesney at UCLA. Number one baseball team in the country, though, with the number one prospect. Good baseball weekend. Good softball weekend for Tech. They took 2 games from Georgia. Not a good softball weekend for Radford. They didn't win a game down at Campbell. They played Iowa, Campbell, and Miami, Ohio. Miami, Ohio was pretty good. But a good softball weekend for Tech. People sending me some of the memes now on our professional door text line. Todd Grantham's going to join us here coming up, defensive coordinator at UAB. Tell you what, Todd sent those pictures of the facility, man. Those are awesome. Those are awesome. I mean, he showed the practice field and the field house. I mean, it's nice to see that they have everything in place there. They do. But we'll talk to him about that. I know he was watching the game yesterday. Sorry, I can't read most of these things I'm getting over the air, so I will not. But I can on Big Dog Pop. Very little going on tonight in hoops, right? Monday's a slow night in hoops. We got to get Coach Lynn back on, by the way. Mount St. Mary's is on a roll. They've gotten to within one game overall. They're climbing up the MAAC standings. Congratulations to him. I knew he'd get him. This is when they made their run last year. Watch out. Yeah, that won't happen, Jason. Yeah, he won't do things like that. Yeah. The inquiry has been made multiple times. That's not going to happen for, reasons. All right, joining us on the program now, there he is. It's Coach Grantham. Good morning. How you doing, man?
Good. Good morning, bud. How you doing?
Doing all right, man. And I know you and I were chatting yesterday. What a great moment, huh? Team USA.
Oh, man, I tell you what, that was awesome. That brought back memories of that miracle on ice, just the whole grit and the pride that team's got, and they kept fighting, and the best team did win. So we can go ahead and state that right now. But just just the whole makeup of it, the grit, the toughness. I don't know if anybody got to see, but just the celebration in the locker room. They were playing a Toby Keith song and enjoying a few beverages and stuff. That's what it's all about. Whether it's the gold medal or winning a championship, whether it's high school or college. That bond in the locker room after winning something like that is really what makes everything worthwhile. So it's really fun to watch.
It really was, man. It really was.
It makes all the hard time. It makes all the hard times. You just start laughing about the way you feel like you weren't going to make it through a workout or something, and it makes things kind of funny. But no, it was a great time.
Well, speaking of workouts, man, I was just talking about your facility. You shared with me a couple of those videos, and I showed them here on the facilities there. I mean, you told me they were out of sight, but man, oh man, you got some good stuff over there, UAB.
Yeah, the football facilities here are really good. Everything's really functional from the standpoint of, the facilities that you saw were really connected to our weight room. So from a weight training perspective, like you can be training in the weight room and then open up a sliding door and you can go out and get your stretch in, your run in, do all your movements and things like that. So from that standpoint of it, everything's centrally located. It's really good. And, really proud of the guys, man. It was our second, what we call winning edge on Fridays. And, the whole concept of that is we do it at 6 a.m. in the morning, obviously. And, it gets back to discipline, accountability, and toughness, things I've always talked about. There's really no great speech to give somebody in a locker room. You can talk to guys, but at the end of the day, you develop that, this time of year for next fall. And I think the biggest thing is understanding that, like, hey, touching the line means something, finishing through the line means something, hand behind the line before you start means something. And then being able to encourage a teammate that might be struggling, might be over there throwing up, whatever, everybody reacts differently, but encourage your teammates and getting through something tough together. I think all of that's, and I think it's actually more important now because, you got to put like 2 to 3 years worth of work into like 6 months. So it's got to be exact from the standpoint of touch the line, get through the line, do the things exactly. And then you learn to depend upon each other because you're going through something hard. And I think that trust ends up being developed. So I was really pleased with the way our guys responded. I thought we were much better week 2 than week 1, which is to be expected. And, I like our makeup. We just got to continue to work, improve. We got a long ways to go, but I like where we're headed right now.
Well, and Coach Elmo was saying, he always jokes with me, hey, ask Todd if I still have a job. And he said that you reached out to him, wanted the kid he liked, one of the defensive back from the West Coast. He said he's doing well.
He's doing great, man. The kid from Sac State, he's doing a really good job. He's playing nickel safety for us, actually playing 2 spots and doing a really good job. Very, very smart guy, has really took a learning, like he learns really well and he can apply what he learns to the field. So I wanted to make sure, because I knew that was Phil's number 1 guy, and I liked him on tape. And it was just a matter of, moving up from that level to this level, how would it transition? And it's been fine. So I'm going to have Phil down when spring practice starts, just so he can kind of see the guys, evaluate the guys, and kind of see where they are and kind of go from there. So we'll get him down here.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, he's so you can tell how much it meant to him too that he was able to help with some of these guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those, like, I mean, if you really think about it, we signed 27 guys in basically 10 days. I mean, now we had a 3-day window. we had a 3-day window in there where guys couldn't come on campus, and it was kind of dead, which honestly I think for us worked out in our favor because you could kind of catch your breath and see, all right, where you were with the guys you already had in, you already had signed, what your roster looks like, what your needs were. So in some ways, that break actually benefited us to be able to catch our breath because it was a really small department. Like when I got here, there's basically 2 guys in the personnel department, and Brennan Donovan, who kind of heads it up, he was awesome. I mean, he's actually an NFL scout. He had been with the Browns before. He had been in some other NFL stops along the way. He'd been at Notre Dame. He was actually with Muschamp at Florida when they had some pretty good players down there. And just his organization to be able to let me come in and, all right, let's watch these 20 guys and we got to get 5 of them. Okay, so let's rank them. And to be able to do that really helped us and expedite the process. So it's going good.
I know one thing that's interesting is about, and you've done this a lot, is you've had to move around a lot, and coaches across the country are moving around a lot, right?
Well, so I got to give my wife Paige, who's from Pulaski County as well, a shout out. You know, she's actually she's in Stillwater right now. So the process is when you take a job like the coach, like I'm here, right? We're going, and she's actually back in Stillwater this weekend, and the movers actually come today and they pack you. And then they'll come and load the truck tomorrow. And she's kind of got it down to a science, man. Like she knows, like, hey, if I buy these guys lunch, they're gonna pack things nice. So like she'll buy them lunch and all that kind of stuff and take care of them. So that way they take care of our stuff. We don't got as much stuff now as we used to when it was 2 kids. That was a pretty big truck, and now it's basically a half a truck, quarter of a truck, or whatever, because our kids are out. So she's sitting there organizing that and getting ready to roll. But yeah, those are fun times, and those are the hard times too, because as a coach, a lot of times this time of year you're free. You know what I mean? Like I might be done at say 6 o'clock or whatever, but you got the evenings. Well, if you move, your family's not around and everything, so that ends up being tough, particularly if your kids have sports and things like that. So when we went to Florida, we kind of changed our philosophy. It was like, we're moving. So we actually moved myself, my 2 kids, and Paige. It was 4 of us and our dog Tex, and we lived in a residence inn in Gainesville for 72 days. And,
wow!
And it was probably the funnest time though. Just got them acclimated, and obviously all the ladies that worked at the residence loved our dog and everything. So it ended up being pretty cool. So anyway, yeah, it's part of the process that you don't really think about it, once someone's hired. But you got to get there. You got to move your stuff. And luckily, man, I guess I get to move into my apartment next, because I'm done with the house things now. It's just me and my wife, and I'm done buying, man. I've got me a nice little apartment, and it's 2-bedroom, and anyway, it's a brand new facility. So I'm gonna do that, and hopefully get to move in next Wednesday. So maybe the move-in day will be next Wednesday, and I can roll.
There you go. I like that. It's very smart.
Yeah.
Very smart.
Yeah. So
hey, a couple rule changes that look good. One is pretty big. One's more subtle, but I'm so glad they're paying attention to it. The first one is they're going to adjust it. Hopefully, this whole targeting rule in college football, which is so awful, it's not going to carry over anymore. Correct? The suspension.
Yeah, I mean, so first of all, they really shouldn't be suspended. Period.
No,
I understand the rule to get the quote that Jack Tatum hits out of football when they came, which is the right thing to do. And people started emphasizing how you tackle as far as your target, and you took the head out of tackling, and you're really talking about, using your shoulder anywhere from below the shoulder to the thigh. But the problem is, with balls being thrown and guys so athletic, things move so fast that sometimes that collision is going to happen. So I get there's going to be a penalty, but to have it as a penalty that affects not only this game, but it affects the next game, I mean, is pretty revealing. And I told you, I think on one of your other shows, I changed my philosophy. Like when I was at Mississippi State, we played UMass, and we had Alabama the next week. And it was one of those games that, our players knew we were going to win the game, so we weren't playing our best. And the score was 21-7 going into like the middle of the third quarter. So it was one of those that you couldn't take your guys out because you still got to win. You still got to win this game. And we came on a blitz with John Abrams, and they didn't pick it up. And he was coming from the right side, and the quarterback saw John coming at the last minute and ducked his head and went forward. Well, John hit him in the head, and like 3 flags came out. So, Dan was all upset. I'm like, I don't know what you're going to do. So anyway, the very next play, we're playing trap, which means the corner's playing the flat, and they ran a guy in the flat where our corner blew that guy up, and 3 more flags came out. So both guys, but they overturned the last one and said it wasn't targeting. But we lost John for the first half of the Alabama game, which affected us. So going forward there, like when I was at Florida, we played South Florida down in Tampa. Is one of those like, hey, we're going to play you. We're going to play once in Tampa, but we're going to play twice up in our place, right? So we had to go there and play, and we were up 31-3 or something like that at halftime, and I wasn't playing starters. Like we weren't going to lose the game, but I wasn't getting some because we played Alabama the next week that time too, and I wasn't playing the starters because I was not going to lose a starter. So what happened is we played we really didn't play that great because we were ending up playing with 2s and 3s and guys that, that weren't our starters. But I look, it's all about winning the game and getting your best players to the field the next game. So I changed my philosophy because of that rule that when we played a directional school or a school that we should win, and we had a big game the following week, once the game was under control, I was going to take my guys out and go that route with it. So hopefully they would change the rule to where it doesn't affect the next game, because that is a big penalty, in that regard. And then the whole pants thing, that actually is a rule. They say they're changing it. It's really, they quit enforcing it because it used to be, but nowadays guys are getting paid to just fine them. That's what they do in pro football. They have a dress code in the National Football League. That's why you don't see all that in the National Football League. Like when I had Aaron Glenn's the head coach of the Jets, right? Well, he used to get fined $5,000 a game because he wanted to wear his socks and his knee pads a certain way. So he got fined $5,000 a game when I was with him in Cleveland, and just fine him. Because the issue was on the pants is the equipment managers actually started complaining because the rule was supposed to be that, hey, your knee pad had to cover your knee. Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Well, the equipment people actually started complaining that they would have to order new pants because of the makeup of them. They weren't made to be like that. And so at the end of the day, it was a cost thing. And they realized, because we actually got penalized because Dan was like, it was funny. Dan's like, hey, look, they took our corner. We had Marco Wilson, and they said his pants were too high, and he was out there and he didn't leave the game. Well, they threw a flag for us for a delay of game because Dan had told them, said, look, make them stop the game and take you out of the game. Because if you just run off the field, we may have to change who's playing corner. It's not just like a 1-for-1. So when they first emphasized that rule, we ended up getting penalized a delay of game. We were playing Georgia in the cocktail deal. And anyway, ever since then, though, that year they quit enforcing it, and it's gotten worse. Some of the guys are basically wearing shorts, and it's there to protect you. There's a reason they have the rule in place. So to me, it's real simple: cover your knees, and then go from there.
Well, I'm glad they're changing both. I've hated the targeting rule, everything about it. I don't think a guy should be injected in game. Everybody knows malicious intent. It's obvious, and to have common sense. Every one of those should be reviewed all the time and look and see and just say, okay, a guy couldn't help it. He's not going to be ejected for that game, much less the first half of the next game. It's just a stupid rule.
Exactly. Look, the intent was to get that type of play out of the game. And I think that the way people coach it now, the way the players perceive it, and the way they try to tackle, I think that has taken it out of the game. So in essence, you did what you wanted to do from a safety standpoint. Now, don't penalize the kid because like that stuff's happening fast, and it's really hard to adjust sometimes. So make it a 15-yard penalty and move on.
Morris asked a question of you, Coach. He says, hey, just curious, I know UAB's your favorite now, but what was your favorite or best memory you have in one of your college stops in the past? Not your NFL career, but what about in college? Which one kind of stands out? Yeah.
I don't know. Well, obviously I played at Virginia Tech, and we went from, the year Phil was hired, we were able to make it and get to the Independence Bowl and actually we went on a 3-year run where we won 27 games in 3 years, and it climaxed with me with our ability to win the Big East and go beat Texas in the Sugar Bowl. So for me, being able to be a hometown guy from Pulaski, grew up there, I grew up watching Virginia Tech football, it was a part of me, and to be able to take them to the level that really that 3-year stretch right there really turned the program. Like if you look at programs, like when did they become identified? I mean, and it was a combination of a lot of things. And one was that they finally got into the Big East, because by getting into the Big East, we basically had to go win the Big East, and it forced, the Sugar Bowl to take us, because they wouldn't have taken us if we weren't in the Big East, but contractually they had to. So obviously that 3-year run there and being able to turn something that meant a lot to you as a player and as a person growing up, being able to turn that into what was really become a national known deal then with Virginia Tech, that was obviously meaningful. Outside of that, I think the Mississippi State deal, because they were 110th in defense, they were not very good. Dan didn't think they were very good. And it was like, what do you think? And I'm watching them in spring practice, and I'm like, damn, these guys look pretty good to me. Like, maybe they'll panic or whatever. And they were 110th in defense, and I think they were 5-7 the year before. And we were able to get all the way up to 10th in the country. We won 9 games in the SEC West, which that SEC West, man, you're playing LSU, Auburn, Alabama. I mean, there's like some real dudes in that one back then. And being able to take that team that had won 5-7 and finished was 110th in defense, take them all the way up to 10th in the country in total defense and win 9 games. That was probably the most gratifying year that I had as a coordinator.
Mississippi State, it's an interesting answer because you've been Georgia and Florida and South Carolina, all these other places.
But those people at Mississippi State are great people. I mean, they're a lot like people from the New River Valley. Yep. I mean, they're blue collar, they're hard workers. They have grit themselves. I mean, they're just good people, and they're genuine in their beliefs. And I enjoyed that stop probably the most of all of them.
Anthony says, hey, Coach, he's a big Louisville booster. He says, I love the way our defense played when you were there at Louisville. There you go. There's a nice comment.
we were pretty good there too. Bobby Petrino was the head coach though. So, I liked Louisville. I did like Louisville, and it was good. My kids would tell you they liked Louisville because my son ended up playing at Trinity High School and then actually went to a state championship there. What's funny is Corbin ended up, he was at an all-Catholic school, all-boys school, and as a sophomore got called up, and he played and won a state championship at Trinity. Okay, and then the next year we go to Mississippi State, and he had the choice to go to the private school or to the public school. And I said, look, if you're wanting to play, you need to go to the public school. And so he went to Starkville High and ended up starting for them in their secondary and went to the state championship game there. And so he went from an all-boys Catholic school to a public school in Mississippi, and that was pretty cool. And but that's what it's all about too. You know what I'm saying? But I enjoyed my time in Louisville. But I do think the people of Mississippi, and just I think it was more the fact that at Louisville they were good because they'd had Charlie Strong there. Yeah. You know what I mean? And we were going into the ACC at the time, which was a step up, but they were pretty good. And he had some good players. I think the difference for me was when I went to Mississippi State, they were horrible. Like they were 110th in defense. People didn't have a lot of confidence. Not that Dan was on the hot seat, but it was more like we got to get it turned a little bit. And they just weren't very good. So be able to go in and turn that and just see the excitement that kind of started generating from that. That was pretty cool. That's what it's all about. So,
Well, it's great. And that's kind of what you're doing at UAB. I love the fact you like to continue to challenge yourself. You're picking out spots that just, okay, this is going to be a fun challenge. And that's kind of what you're doing here at UAB. I
yeah,
think that's great. That's cool. That's
yeah,
cool.
I think, that's me. I mean, as a player, I probably wasn't the most talented guy, but I was going to compete. And I've always taken that into my life approach as far as with my profession and, take on challenges. And, the last couple challenges, a lot of people probably wouldn't take, if you're the defensive coordinator at Georgia, you're probably not doing this. You know what I'm saying? So, I enjoy the challenges. I enjoy helping guys create value for themselves. Just even I was thinking about this on Friday, just watching our kids with the way they work and their vision. Like, these guys have aspirations and they have dreams and they got goals, and being able to help them create value for themselves in their life, meaning, hey, graduate. Okay. Because I still get on guys about getting your degree, because if you don't get your degree, there's an NFL study done that if you get a degree, you actually earn $1 million more over a lifetime than a guy that doesn't get his degree. And I'm not saying that if you don't have a degree, that's bad. I'm just saying that when the NFL looks at, and they always looked at guys that, like, how do guys make it? You know what I'm saying? Like, they're more worried about how do we get productive players in the league. And in actuality, a guy that had his degree at the time when the study was done played 3 years longer than a guy that didn't have his degree and made $1 million more. Now, those numbers have probably changed with what it is now. But anyway, I just enjoy helping people. I mean, that's why you got into it. The thing that's happened now is the landscape has changed. But I don't think our responsibility as coaches has changed. It's just that the needle has moved a little bit to give them, other, factors that factor into their decision-making process. So you got to learn to educate them. And, but it's really cool. I enjoy being around young people. I like the way our guys work, and, it's just fun seeing those guys have visions and dreams for where they want to go. And you just try to help them get there.
And that's part of the challenge, isn't it? Because of the way things have evolved, right? So you have to kind of adapt yourself to all that.
That's the challenge. Like I told you one time, I think it was, I had a player who was a pain in the ass, and sometimes that happens on defense, right? Phil can tell you that. Sometimes you got to manage those guys, right? And it's all about getting guys to fall in line and do the things you ask them to do, and discipline them. Okay. Well, discipline can be it's really about changing behavior. So I had a guy that's a pain in the ass one time, and he was kind of difficult. So this was before, obviously, the NIL. And now guys would get if they lived off campus, they would get what they call a stipend check, each month. So I just brought the guy in, and I had a player that was close to me, and he sent me his paycheck. Okay. For that. Because, in the National Football League, guys get paid by the week. They get paid, and it's still done that way. They get paid by the week. So anyway, I brought the kid in, and I said, look, man, here's the deal. I said, how much do you make a week? And he told me, and I said, well, here's the deal is I want you to do the shit my way. And if you do it my way, this is the check you can get. And I showed him the check of a former player. And I said, so you got a choice. I said, you've been doing it your way, and that's your check. I said, but if you change, this is the value you can have, and this is the check you can have. And I never had any more problem out of the guy. I'm not saying that he was an angel and everything, but like he conformed, and if I said it, he did it.
I like it.
And that kid's actually playing today in the National Football League still. So, but you got to figure out ways to motivate guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's different nowadays, and obviously the revenue thing has put another hinder in it, from that standpoint. But you just got to figure out, what really motivates a player. And that's the part of the whole portal thing that's hard, because, to have like if everybody says, oh, your team is motivated, well, hopefully you probably got motivated players on your team. You know what I mean? I mean, that's probably what you have. And that's what you got to make sure you get, is guys that are self-starters, guys that want to work, guys that aren't afraid of competition. I mean, that's the key right now, is in that 24-hour window can you find the right guys? Because that's really what you're down to in recruiting in the portal, is a 24-hour window to say whether you're going to get this guy or not.
Did you feel, pressure is not the right word, but what was the sense of urgency? You mentioned 27 guys in 10 days. You know how the climate is out there. Everybody's bidding for everybody. How did you guys quickly did you come together and realize, okay, we need to expedite this process for our class?
Yeah. So obviously we had a budget, we had a budget by room, and I took a little bit different approach. Like, I do think my experience in the National Football League helped me with the landscape of understanding, like you don't pay everybody the same, and you got to get players. So I think the biggest thing is obviously we had a budget, and you had to get guys that you feel were starters, and you had to target those guys, and you had to figure out what the competition was, meaning financially. And then you had to be competitive on that. And I think that was the biggest thing and that was where Phil really helped me out, is like, not so much right, wrong, or whatever, but more confirming, because like you're looking at so many guys within a short time. Like when you do the draft, you're gonna rate, like, matter of fact, the combine starts today. So from today all the way up until the draft, those coaches, that's all they do is evaluate guys. Well, that's a lot bigger window to evaluate guys, and we have a shorter time. So to me, it's about, making sure you get the right guys, and it's about getting eyes on the players. In other words, like, making sure. And the other thing is making sure you got flexibility in the guys you get. Like if you say this guy can only play this, well, that's going to be a problem, because you're going to be wrong sometimes in your evaluation and everything. So I think that's the biggest thing with me, is just being able to look at guys, whether it's defensive backs, D linemen, linebackers, and say, all right, this guy can do this, this, and this. Let's take him. You know what I mean? And this guy, fits financially within the realms of what we can do. We got to take him, and kind of do those things, and then just get in there and start recruiting them. And then the other thing is I kind of feel like I do have value for players from the standpoint of, look, I've coached the highest paid player in pro football 3 different times. My resume, I've got 54 guys that were drafted as a defensive coordinator. So, you want to be one of those guys, here's what you got to do. So I think those things help too, because the portal, guys go into portal for 2 things, playing time and money, but they also go in there with the idea, how am I getting to the league? And I think that if you can show them those 3 things and how your vision is for them, I think that that's the part of the recruiting. Whereas in high school, it's a little bit longer drawn out process. There's a little bit more relationship involved and those kind of things. So, I think you just focus on those 3 things and target the right guys and get them here and be aggressive in your approach and know you got to be competitive financially. And I thought we did a good job with that.
Wow. 54 guys you've put in the NFL. That's incredible. Yeah. That's incredible. It says it all right there. Good Lord. And I have to think, and this is going to be a nice segue for next week, the NFL might know who Todd Grantham still is. We have to get into that sometime too.
Yeah, we can talk about that next week.
We'll do that next week.
Yeah.
All right, man. We'll keep them grinding, man. That's great stuff, man.
Y'all take care. Everybody have a great week. All right.
You too, man. Hey, good luck with the movement, man. To keep Paige safe.
Hey, look, I don't do anything. I just stay out of the way. Okay. Like
let her handle it.
Let her handle it. It's a crazy. I would be a nuisance. Okay. I would be a problem. I'm that problem player if that happens.
I understand.
So
you're the guy giving the defensive coach problems with your wife.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Exactly. Gotcha. Take care, man.
All right, man. Have a great week. Bye-bye. All right. Great stuff. 54. How about that? He's put 54 players in the NFL. Wow. That's incredible. Absolutely. People want to play for coaches that put kids in the league, and he's honest. That's the thing about it. He's very honest. I like the story with the check. You're doing it your way. You like this? Well, do you want this? Why don't you try to listen to somebody? That's great, man. It's great. Yeah, you're right, Morris. Todd is awesome on perspective. We get Todd and Elmo. Free valued entertainment. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. I love the approach to learn. Fascinates me. I hope it fascinates you to learn the interworkings of a place like UAB, who's in a very good G5 league, right? It's the best G5 league. And the process of a school like that, like we know the Power Fours, and we know, James Franklin, and he's always had success recruiting and the money that they have and the advantages, but it's cool to hear how other leagues and other schools have to go about putting all that together. I think it's very interesting. You help us we'll never make sense of the current landscape because it doesn't make any sense, but it does kind of help with the perspective, I think, for everybody involved. So that's cool. Very, very cool. I know I'll have to get the graphic picture from him again, but if you look at Todd's resume, it's incredible. It's incredible. Interesting that Mississippi State was the one that he still kind of holds of all the stops. He's been in a lot of places in the SEC, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina. Mississippi State was the one where it was so torn down and bad. He loved that. And so I think that's one of the big reasons he ended up at UAB. So good stuff. Thanks to all of our great sponsors. It's awesome. You're way too kind, TLB. Way too kind. Thank you, though. I appreciate it. Appreciate that. Yeah, me too, a little bit, Morris. I didn't expect Mississippi State to come out. Yeah, and it makes sense once he explained it. But, yeah, wasn't expecting that. But I know he and Dan Mullen had a great relationship. And remember, and Todd was able to tell us the whole time, Dan Mullen kept getting rumored for jobs. He's like, he's not leaving Vegas. Dan loves Vegas. But I appreciate the good comments. Please subscribe, like, and share the channel as we try to march our way toward 1,000. And we'll be back tomorrow on the Tuesday edition of this program. So I hope everybody takes care, enjoys the rest of your day. I hope we helped you get off to a good start on your Monday and for your work week. Bundle up, stay warm. We got 48 hours of this nonsense before we warm back up. And then on Wednesday, when we warm back up, it's going to rain all day. But in any event, that's okay. Warm and rain is better than cold and frozen precipitation. I'll take it every time. Thanks, everybody, for contributing as always. Remember, you can hit us up on the Professional Door text line all day long throughout the day. Doesn't bother us at all. Everybody take care. Enjoy. We'll see you tomorrow on the Tuesday edition.